welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GameStar TV for the Blizzard ANZ Heroes of the Storm Season 2 Qualifiers. My name is Kit Fox. I'm your host for this evening. If you have just joined us, the Leighton Hewitt Fan Club went up against PogChamp on Dragonshire and came out with a win. And congratulations to Physics, who netted himself a nomination into the GameStar MVP program. And things like that are made possible thanks to the sponsors of GameStar, that are Plantronics, Blizzard ANZ, Split Media Labs, whose products we use to power our broadcast, such as Player.me, Challenge, and XSplit. Without the support, there would be no prizes. And speaking of prizes, we have got viewer giveaways. Thanks to Blizzard ANZ, as usual, every week, plenty of swag on offer. Tonight, we're giving away a Lucio Hero bundle, so you will get the hero plus the rivet skin. So to enter, you need to type !GS2Q into the chat right now. Anybody who entered before that moment will not have been counted, so get on into the chat, re-enter, and of course, it is only open to followers of the channel, which is the big green heart, or the red heart if you're not following at the top of the screen. So !GS2Q for the Lucio bundle. And all the maps tonight have been chosen out of the official Blizzard map pool. If you want to view that, you can have a look at www.gamestar.com. Tonight's maps are Dragonshire, which you just saw. Now we're going to be going into Cursed Hollow, and then it'll be Braxis Holdout, Warhead Junction, and Towers of the Doom. As I just mentioned, we're going into Cursed Hollow because Nomia are going to be taking on Trump Sports. So we're going to pass you back over to your faithful casters, Skimmy and Vandy.
That's the one there, Kit Fox. Let's rock and roll here on Cursed Hollow. It's going to be Nomia, the powerhouse of ANZ, up against the underdogs, Trump Sports. Now, Trump Sports currently have a 3-0 disadvantage record up against Nomia, but that's nothing to really to be too down and out against. Nomia obviously being the huge favourites in this one, wouldn't you say, Vandy?
They are coming in as the favourites, but every opportunity that they get to verse Nomia, they're going to be learning more of their tactics, more of how they work, and it just sort of draws them closer to be able to sort of get that win, hopefully. At least that's how I picture it in my mind. You don't know, sorry, let me start again. You don't know what you have to beat until you sort of have versed them, I guess, for lack of better words.
I can feel where that point's going. I can nitpick the finer sort of notes at that point, but I mean, we've seen glimpses of where Nomia don't look invincible, right? We've seen games where they've fallen in the early game, or they've actually lost and dropped the game altogether, but it seems to be once in a blue moon. And that could be down to a few factors, be it the team themselves don't actually have the confidence to overcome what Nomia have, or Nomia themselves are just too consistent across the board.
And off the bat, we're going to see a Ragnaros band come out right here, Skimmy, and I like that for a number of reasons, especially on Cursed Hollow. When you do have that curse, if you have a Ragnaros up, that Molten Core, once again, providing so much support for either attack or defense. Ragnaros is really that tier S hero, like you said, because he brings a lot of damage to the board, as well as he's a very strong all-rounder. He's got the damage, he's got map presence, and he can also build quite durable in terms of just taking towns to get armor up when you get stunned. So, yeah, he's just a great all-rounder. So, off the bat, gone. And we're seeing Arthur's band come out here.
Yeah, same as last game. We see teams actually starting to pick up the fact that Arthur's really is that powerhouse. Whether he's played as a tank or as a bruiser, he will survive for an extremely long time and provide absurd amount of damage. Not to mention, I should really say, is the slowing ability, both movement speed and attack speed. It's annoying, it's frustrating, and there's no reason he's been taken off the ball. But to quickly highlight the two picks, both globals right off the bat, they're both strongest globals in Faust and Dahaka, and with the double pick, Nomia secured the Malfurion as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's really no surprise to us. We're going to see it prioritized on Cursed Hollow, as you said, being a large map. We've got a lot of distance. Global can be everything. They didn't even, I think, try to waste a ban because they were more worried. They knew that you have to roll a global on this, otherwise you put yourself at a big disadvantage from the draft. So it was more about considering, I guess, aspects of team fight or objective control. So that's where the Ragnaros has gone, that's where the Arthas has gone. So they're really making do of getting the best use of their ban slots.
Well, now we have to see, because this is a very similar opening to last game, minus the bans being swapped out. We had a Ragnaros picked with the Malfurion, but this time with Dahaka being available, that's going to be the rotation. They've actually decided not to opt down that route of locking in the Lucio. Going to leave that support pick just a little bit later in the draft. But already 3 comfort heroes across the board. You've got Jim Jam on the Faust, what he's so proficient on. Zeratul, Deuces, scariest hero that I've ever actually seen him perform on. And then you've got Muradin. Now, we'll have to see who's going to be the one playing the tank in this position, but if it is KVA, that's one of his main heroes to go to as well.
It's all going to be staples and comfort picks. And also that Zeratul, I'm thinking of Fat94 on Team Nomia as well. We've seen him play a mean Zeratul. It is one of his favoured champions. On Cursed, he can work quite well with that Void Prism, choking up a lot of the thoroughfare and sort of the path you can take to get to the tribute when it spawns. So it's also a comfort pick as well as almost a denial to Team Nomia.
Yeah, absolutely. You're almost with the idea of going to Zeratul as well. You're trying to prevent them picking squishy heroes. For example, don't let them go for heroes like, say, Chromie or the Vala, because they're going to be so susceptible to this instant burst damage. And we saw from last game, if you have no way of dealing with these high output heroes, you struggle very hard. So with that Zeratul there not only being a comfort pick, it's definitely a hero that can transition and dissuade a lot of those choices. Now, talking about the picks, we got Nazeebo and Tassadar taken off the board. Obviously, Xayah is banned with the bug that's known. So with her being out of the mix, it allows for an easy ban on Tassadar. And Nazeebo's a little bit off, but definitely a huge pick on this map as well, because at the end of the day, you're looking for as much poking potential to sustain yourself in those tribute fights.
Nazeebo can also be a little bit deadly when you've got, I guess, tight corridors or just not a lot of map space to play around with, because if that Wall of Death comes out, you really are a sitting duck, as well as just the damage he can churn onto you then. So I can understand why they banned him. As you said, it's a bit of an interesting one. I'm wondering where they're going with that. It could just be that they don't want to have 2 specialists to deal with. On that map, it can be quite devastating to have that much push potential, because essentially you can sort of ignore the tribute in a way and just keep pushing until someone has to go deal with you. Otherwise, then you're putting yourself at a big level disadvantage. So I'm not sure what they were going with that one. It's just they know best, right, Skimmy? They have been, I guess, the undisputed leaders of our region.
Well, they're the record holders, absolutely. And I was just going to say, to share that sort of same note, really, Cursed Hollow is a map that, generally speaking, goes to the late game. And Nazeebo is one of the strongest heroes in the late game, especially with that level 20 power spike, when that poison damage is amplified to an absurd rate. So I don't want to have to deal with the damage of him being able to poke continuously, not to mention the sieging potential. And he's actually a really strong laner. And the only other big synergy that runs to mind would be the zombies to follow up the Zeratul Void Prism. They're going to go for the Greymane as well, gives them some strong, reliable poke, but an executor. So somebody that can jump in with the Zeratul, somebody that can follow up and Muradin stun, and the Rhaegar not only for the Ancestral, but for a good cleansing option. Valeera is locked in, and that has to be a Fat94 pick if I've ever seen it now, Vandy.
Yep, I guarantee that's going to be Fat94 on that. And why I say that, it's almost like you've got the Zeratul, but I've got my Valeera. So I want to see how he sort of plays that on sort of that level. But in saying that as well, the ETC was picked up. Huge marsh, huge stage dive potential. Maybe another global at their disposal, as well as Greymane and Zeratul are quite sticky heroes in that, as you said, that Li Ming's going to have her work cut out for her, with Executors going to be after her back. So it's going to be up to Dahaka ETC to peel. And they did ban the Tassadar as well going into this, so making sure that they couldn't run that double support to keep Li Ming extra safe. Yeah,
it's going to be a battle of the invisible heroes, so to speak. It's going to turn the fight in such a way that both Fat94 and Deuces will influence how these skirmishes develop and how they progress. What I'm really going to be interested to see is how Greymane decides to build, because we've seen a lot of the cocktail build recently, but a lot of people are starting to realize now the Inner Beast at level 1, especially on Merc heavy maps, for instance, where you can grab the golems at 2 minutes. That alone is a huge power spike that cannot be overlooked. And the mana regen is a component that you could, supplement through the regen globes you can pick up, the well, and even just going back for base. So keep an eye on how these builds do develop. These are some of the best teams in the region for ANZ. And this team on the left-hand side, rocking the blue corner, they don't need any introduction. You know who they are, but we'll run through them regardless. It is Team Nomia. Fat94, the captain, playing Valeera. Arcana is going to be tanking it up onto Harko, Robert, Dober on ETC, Vanilla on Malfurion, and John to round things out on that Li Ming.
And red team tonight, we've got Team Trumpwall. Trumpwall? Yeah. Sorry. We've got Deuces on Zeratul, KVO on Muradin, The Shadow on Rhaegar, Jim Jam on Falstad, Lahal on Greymane.
Lahal on Greymane. Let's have a look. These teams... Well, both are going for different opportunities here. The 5-man stack in the mid lane seems to be the go-to for Trump Sports, whereas the separation, the split, so to speak, is the call here from Nomia. 2 in the top, 2 in the bot. scouting out for an early push potentially, but it doesn't seem to be the case here. Rob's got eyes as well as Fat 94, and Deuces also hanging out in the bush there.
Oh, I mean, it's great to see they're not throwing themselves in the middle and doing that ARAM that we've come to like know and love. They're definitely playing this one smart. They don't want to give away their position either. With such patience coming out from Robodoba there, just making sure that he doesn't want to reveal himself. They want to see where the stealth characters are.
Yeah, this feels like a bit of a throwback to the old days where you'd have tanks in the mid lane and it'd be painfully slow to push. But just like that, Falster taken off the board. It might be a comfort hero for good old Jim Jam, but he was definitely feeling the wrath of a gank.
He didn't like that. That's why they were just waiting to see where the stealth characters were, because they got the jump on him essentially, and they're not going to let it happen again. Deuces as well, just playing a very, very patient game now. They've got both stealth characters up there. It's going to be interesting to see if they want to sort of wait, or are they going to make a move?
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're talking about in terms of these fights. It's really going to come down to how the stealth characters manipulate the foe, because they alone, even just through presence, if you see that shimmer, that alone is enough to not only tilt you, but make you second guess your decision making. And with that in mind, you can see that they're going to be doing a lot of rotations to try and influence these solo lanes.
Yep, so I'm seeing a scouting drone coming out of Malfurion. That's sort of to be expected. He wants as much vision as possible, as well as the seasoned marksman build coming up from Falster, so you can see that last game.
Look at that, Greymane caught there with the combination from the cheap shot. Entangling Root seals the deal, and another pick, as we mentioned, in the solo lane.
It seems like that 94 is just, I guess, a little bit slightly faster than Deuces in terms of this laning presence, this roaming that's going on, and he's getting a lot of setup from his teammates as well. Vanilla throwing down the roots. But there we go, with Deuces being that ward there, keeping KVA safe, just letting him know not to overextend, and seeing if he can pick up a kill here on Fat 94, maybe even the score a little bit.
I mean, if we talk about the lanes as a whole in terms of setup potential, you've got Arcana in the top lane who has innate CC. He's got the drag, so he can definitely complement the cheap shot. You look at the bot lane, same is applicable there. You've got the Entangling Roots to follow up the cheap shot. So when you compare both solo laners in terms of what their potential is to gank, Nomia definitely do take that advantage. You can't really do too much for a Falster, nor, I mean, how are you going to really get a gank with a slowing totem on the Rhaegar? Soft CC up against hard CC, and when it comes to these early levels, it's all about that burst potential.
Yep, you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe, keeping an eye on the map, especially, as we said, those stealth characters giving a lot of presence on that map, and we're not really seeing either team get too aggressive with this first tribute right here, until now.
Yeah, they're going to go in with the Entangling Roots. Big power slide comes across there. It's going to catch up Lahal, who's dropped down to 100. He's got the healing ward on him. Straight away with the disengage. Can he survive? It's going to be a 1v1 with the invisible here. He's Deuces up against Fat 94. He's going to go in with the blink. Can he get it? Singularity spike, and he gets vengeance. He gets revenge. That's what that one was all about there. KDA waiting for the passive to kick in. Good old second wind. Sustaining, healing, doing its job. Greymane did get taken out. I believe it was from Li Ming, actually. As KDA does go back in for another Stormbolt. Dahaka has finally got amongst it. He's actually got the 1v1 up against Deuces, forced to retreat. And after all was said and done, Nomia pick up the tribute.
Trump Sports definitely getting really aggressive there, with Deuces just making sure he's stuck to Fat 94, picking up that kill. They didn't have enough fight in them left to take that point, but they definitely put up a great fight, so they're definitely evening the score there. We're going to see a lot more of this aggression come out, especially once they hit that all-important level 10 skimmy. It's going to be all up to the Void Prisons coming out.
Absolutely, and I mean, a big point we didn't touch on before, just to talk about the macro strategy leading into that first tribute, was both golems were timed well and picked up. It's an RNG as to where that first tribute is going to go, and it favoured Nomia and favoured them even higher, given they had the global pressure, because the golems in the bot lane were just taken out for free by Dahaki. He went down there, he cleared them out, then their golems were actually pushing top the whole time that the dance for the tribute was going about. So with that in mind, you can see there's already a one-level lead, and a lot of that was the reasoning behind it.
Oh, definitely skimmy. And I mean, what I want to see coming out of Nomia as well is just they already got one level advantage up. We're going to see if they can then capitalize on this to know and love, where they get those ganks, push the advantage and snowball it out, and second tributes are right on time. They've got quite good positioning, Nomia, for this one.
Yeah, talking about ganks, Jim Jam actually went for the attempted gank. They're using his flight to try and catch up Fat 94 with Deuces in lane as well, but Rob spots something is up. He's going to go straight in. And, well, Force him back, and with that in mind, once again, the pressure and the presence is really in favor of Nomia, who get another tribute, really uncontested. Vision is there with the scouting drone, as well as DTC in the bush playing surprise parties. KB's going to go in for the Stormbot here. Can they try and collapse onto Fat94? They do, taking him out the fight straight away. Vision will once again, Entangling Root is strong, and that's going to be all it takes to get the turnaround there. John collapses onto Rodin, takes him out for free, and now Trump Sports have the back away. The fight is still breaking out around this boss pit. They are looking for it. Jim Jam going aggressive on towards Vanilla. Robin's got the eyes on this. Dahaka is going to come on in. The shadow is caught, and just a little bit too aggressive for too long. And level 10 is just on the cusp now, Vandy.
Look at this call right here. With all the deaths that they've got, they know that they're in the right position to call boss, and the boss call was made. They instantly all turn to it, working as a unit that we've known to come and love, I guess. And John as well, just doing so much damage with that Ming. Once you get that first reset, the rest just sort of fall like dominoes. There's not much you can do at that point when you were Trump Sports. That fight was lost.
But Trump Sports, a response to the game sense to realize they're on boss, they have to be. Where else would they be? They go straight away for the boss too. This is actually really good for them because the tribute is going to spawn in that top hand side too. But look at that. Fat94 trying to be cheeky. He's gone for the boss invade, timing his cheap shot with the slam from the boss itself. Echo is coming on in. There we go. Jumping in with a stage side kick. Can they go for it? Rayman gets taken out straight away. Disintegrate. He's using the takeout fast as well. They steal the boss, Vandy. They get 3 kills and they get a tribute for the curse on their doorstep. You couldn't have asked for any better for Nomia.
That's play for days, Skinny. That was so well executed by Fat94. The restraint that he had. He knew he had level 10. He knew he had his talent up. He could waste some time with Valera. That dash is on a relatively short cooldown, just dipping in and out, using the vanish to finally just sort of sit there. And the stage dive. That's why Robodoba wanted the stage. Yes, Mosh can bring a lot of presence as well. It's all about the globals on this map.
Whoa, cleanse had to be used there. Once again, Fat94 doing a great job to complement his CC with the other elements in the game, and Shadow forced to burn that huge 60-second cooldown there, so they're going to have to play very defensively, to be quite frank. This boss is going to push on into the core, into the keep, sorry. They're going to go for Entangling Root. Incestual is popped, as well as the Avatar to try and get that up and ready to rock and roll, but with this in mind, I mean, they're sticking around. The boss is still pushing in the bot lane, mind you, so there's a lot of pressure for Trump Sports to deal with, Vandy.
They've got so much pushing in from both ends. 2 bosses, they've got a curse. Like you said, the fact that they got the 3rd tribute.
Taken out, the gust! He just got taken in the Entangling Roots. The gust was there, but just fractions too late. They're going to get a keep. This is literally 8 minutes into the game, Vandy. There's a keep getting banged upon in the bot lane as well. That's going to drop down for free too. 8 minutes in, and you've lost 2 keeps. Disastrous.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I literally looked up at that time. We've got 2 keeps down now, Skimmy. 8 minutes 20, 2 keeps down, and they are showing no signs of stopping. Nomia now on their 3rd keep. They really want to get
unreal.
So much pressure going forward.
If you were to tell me that 8 minutes into a game, 3 keeps were gone, you're 4 levels up, I would laugh. But this is Nomia getting really the best RNG or the best coordination of macro strategy that you could ever ask for.
Definitely. It all had to do, I guess, with that boss steal as well. That really was a pivotal moment with the tribute backing them up. That's just so many things to deal with at such an early level and really allowed them to capitalize and push on. That's what I was talking about. That's a snowball we'd love to see coming out of Nomia. But now it's on the flip side. It's up to Trump Sports to gather themselves together and push back on this. It's not over by a long shot. It's going to be a tough one. But now they can dig deep and show us what they've got. They've hit that all-important level 10. And, I mean, once they get some levels up, they need to play it carefully, yes, but they do have things at their disposal where they can single out targets and get some picks.
Yeah, I mean, let's say this is going to be a huge uphill battle. Yes, they have some great wave clear to really keep that in mind, but a team as well disciplined as Nomia are going to know that they can play as slowly and as long as they need. But this is it. The VP hasn't been used all game. They're going to go for it now. They've set it up with 3 people in mind. Stage side comes in from the flank there. Curse Bullet was used to try and take out Johnny. He's going to get stunned out there. Cleanse comes in straight away, but it's going to be Fausted. Taken for free. Deuces jumps up. It just does not matter. The response, the turnaround potential with Rhaegar gone as well. They're focusing on towards the tank, and they're going to go for the clean 5-man ace. GG is called. 5 members down, 16-12. And as the 10-minute timer clicks on in, Nomia are banging on a core, Vandy.
They are. They know how many ultimates were used during that team fight. Yes, the death time is short, but the position of that team fight as well, and how much pressure they've got from the Merc camps as well, I think they're going to be hard-pressed to defend this one. Trump Sports, this is going to be GG to Nomia.
This is an unreal performance from Nomia. The first one we've seen tonight, but this is a team showing a lot of dominance, and I don't think we were quite prepared for that, to be quite honest.
No, I mean, we might sound a little bit flat, but really, we're just gobsmacked. That was an amazing game to watch, so well executed. And once again, that Nomia precision, like you said, so quick, so efficient. And talking about MVP, Skimmy, Fat 94's Valera had done it for me, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I was definitely going to give it to Fat 94 for a couple of reasons. I loved the level 1 talent, which allowed him to negate so much damage from a lot of these heroes, be it the Falster, the Greyman, and even Zeratul itself. And just the presence it brought to the game, always one step ahead of the Zeratul. And generally speaking, you're meant to be scared of that hero, right? But it was there to aid and accelerate the other lanes. And as a result, we saw the boss steal. And from then on, that boss steal was the play that really made the game. So in my eyes, I had to agree with you on Fat 94 too.
Nice one, Fat 94. You're our MVP for this match.
Well, there we go, guys. Round number 2 done in a heartbeat. 10 minutes into this one, so we might have a quick delay before we do rock on into round number 3. But do bear with us. We'll pass you back to the sweet words of Kip Fox.
Thank you, Skimmy. Well done to Nomia for, demolishing Trump Sports on Cursed Hollow. It must be said there. The game was over in a flash, but well done to Fat 94 picking up the MVP nomination in the GameStar MVP program. If you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, enter into our giveaway for the Lucio bundle, so you get the hero as well as the Rivet skin, !GS2Q in the chat if you have not done so already. We actually got 2 of those to give away tonight, thanks to Blizzard ANZ. So if you don't get your hands on the first one, or Hacky or Jim Jam win it, you have your chance at getting another one. So don't go anywhere, because we've got more to come right after this.